Alright, what is going on YouTube? So excited today to announce that iRacing has finally released the new physics indoor tire model. Not 100% sure. They said just tire model, but if they brought everything over that they did from the big blocks, I believe there's a different physics model too. I just don't see how it can be just a tire model. But with this video, I'm going to be turning my first laps in the late model with the new tire model on it. I am so excited for this. I have been waiting for this ever since they brought it to the UMPs. They introduced it with the big blocks. They brought it over to the UMPs, and I got addicted to the UMPs. And I've said since the UMPs that if they brought it to the late models, I would be unstoppable in the late models. So I'm getting ready to hop out on the track at Knoxville. I'm going to bring out my old setup that I've always ran here at Knoxville. Or not my old setup, but I'm going to bring out the setup that I always run here at Knoxville this season, and I want to see how this physics model runs with this. So far it's already filled text, so I've got to do a little bit of adjusting. But I'm going to do that, and then we're going to get right back into the video. Alright, so I've finally got everything to pass tech, and now I'm getting ready to hop out on track and turn some laps here. I'm so excited for this. I cannot explain it. The reason why I'm running my setup instead of an iRacing setup or something is simply because I want to be able to get that feel with my setup. I want to see how much my own setup has changed. So my quickest lap I've ever turned here is a 17.765. So we want to keep that in the back of our mind. We're going to go to session best, and we want to see just what this does. Already I can feel a little bit of a difference in the wheel. I'm so excited for this, I can't even begin to explain it. Made my setup incredibly tight. For the most part, there's not a massive difference. It feels like it sticks a lot more now. Like a lot more. So I've got down to an 18.4. It's been quite a while since I've been able to turn laps that quick in a super late model. I'm just running absolutely wide open right now as my setup is now so tight with this change that wide open seems to be about the only way that I'm getting this thing to turn into the corner. 18.666. It's got so much stick though. I don't think they changed the physics really pretty much at all. But the way that the car drives feels a lot different. The tire model feels fantastic. I'm not 100% sold on whether or not I'm any faster than what I was. There are rumors that it's quicker. 18.787. So we turned an 18.486. I'm getting feedback as well from one of my drivers. And at Charlotte, he's running 15.1 to 15.0s, possibly thinks he could get down to a 14.9 on the baseline setup at the dirt track of Charlotte in a super late model. He thinks that a 14.5 or 6 would be possible with a setup. So according to him, it is quicker. So I'm actually going to switch over to baseline and see if maybe my setup's just not what it was. I actually need to make sure that I've got audio coming through. Okay, so I do have audio coming through my streaming software. So I'm in really high hopes for this, especially with his feedback right there. The reason that I am running at Knoxville right now is because until 7:30 at night my time, Knoxville is the track that the open super late models are at. And I'm not gonna lie, I actually feel a little bit more comfortable with the baseline set than what I did in my own. Am I as fast? No, I'm actually about a tenth off the pace. Maybe. No, I'm still off the pace from the quick lap that I've turned here, but I'm back down to lap times that I haven't been able to turn in a long time here at Knoxville. But we're gonna hop over to the dirt track at Charlotte and see what we can do over there, and I'm also going to take a look and see what next week's track is going to be, or when it rolls over today, it'll roll over tonight, so what this week's track is going to be, and I'm going to see what kind of laps I can turn there. So we'll be right back with the dirt track Charlotte. Alright, so we're back here at Charlotte, and I pulled out my Charlotte dirt setup, and holy cow, that took some doing to get it to pass tech. Like, boom, mine drastically blown. So I sent him a message and I said, I don't expect my setups to pass tech, but if they're adjusted, are they still fast? He said, the car sits too high and adjusting height down fucks the setup. I ran a 17.9 flat with your old Knoxville setup with your old Knox set for supers. He ran a 17.9 with my old Knox set. Which setup was he running? Adjusted it to make it legal and couldn't run but 12, 2 or 3. Or 18, 2 or 3. The stock set ran 18 flats. So he's turning 18 flats. I'm also not on a completely fresh track, so that could be a little bit of a difference there. I'm on a 5% track. You notice there's actually a little slick patch started right there already on 5%. So we're going to see just what happens. My quick time here ever, if I can remember how to do this, is a 15:06. And I'm running my own setup with adjustments made for the ride height. I'm going to go see just what this will do. Getting it to turn in is unbelievably different now. So the answer to the question as it sits right now, will your old setups work? No, they won't. We're turning 16 O's with my setup that I've been running, 15 threes, 15 fours with all season long. So no, my setup's not working. My left front does not even want to stay on the ground now, and that's completely different from the way this setup ran before. So now what we're going to do is going to switch over to the iRacing baseline for here. And now we're going to see just how the iRacing baseline runs. Now, if it was like it was at Knoxville, the baseline did feel better. Now, it wasn't as quick, but that could have also been track condition. Track condition could have changed in that short amount of time. I already noticed my left front is wanting to stand up with the iRacing baseline. The setup feels incredibly different from anything I'm used to driving. I turned an 18.7 on my outlap right there. I'm already over a tenth faster than the quickest lap that I turned with my own setup. And there's another 2/10 off my time, so now I'm down to 15.8 on iRacing baseline. Now this is without a fuel change, so I'm running the fuel that is in the iRacing baseline, which is probably like 24 gallons. I'm actually going to take a really quick look at that. So with the 24 gallons, I'm already faster than what I am with my own setup. 12 gallons. Okay, so I'm running 12 gallons. And I'm faster. So let's see just what happens here. And actually, I'm really curious about one other thing. It said in the setups that there would be an ability to adjust your power. Now right here's a power adjust and a weight penalty, but you've always had that. You have always had that ability. Right there it is, engine restrictor. So a 1.0 is 100%, correct? Smaller number, less power. Okay, yes, so a smaller number is less power, so that's how you restrict it if you want to restrict it for the slick, so that's completely different there. Now I do have a setup. If this is more realistic as it's supposed to be, I do have a setup from a real life car that I've ran here on iRacing. The setup felt more comfortable than anything I've ever driven. However, it was not quick. So now that I've got the fuel off the car. Ooh, ooh, ooh. We're pushing. She pushes hard. Oh, man.
15.843.
We might have something here. You gotta remember, I'm not on a completely fresh track anymore. I'm losing a lot of speed due to that. However, on the second half of the track, I'm still quicker than what my quickest lap is so far. Now he's turning 15 O's. I'm gonna go to whatever track we have set up for next week, and then I really want to run on a completely fresh track, pretty much all of them, and just see what I can turn. Okay, so the super late models are at Knoxville right now, which means we're going to Fairbury next week. You see right there on 4-6, that was the beginning of last week. That's when we rolled over to Knoxville. Now on 4-13, which isn't actually today, it's tomorrow for iRacing, but it's today for us. It's going to roll over to Fairbury. So what I really want to do, I know I'm 21 minutes into my recording already, but a lot of that is being edited out as it was loading in, exiting, and everything like that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Fairbury. I want to go on a completely fresh track. So let's go Fairbury. I'm going to go to a completely fresh track. I'm going to build me a setup for the fresh track, and then I'm just going to slowly work my way into the slick and build the setup for otherwise. But I don't even think I have a Fairbury setup for a super late model, so starting from scratch isn't the end of the world. Let's go ahead and load in. Alright, so now we're back here at Fairbury on a completely fresh track, and the biggest question that I had was, did I have a setup? Yes. The biggest question out of that is, did the setup that I have still work? Short answer, no. Did not. Had to do a lot of changes to the ride height. Had to make a few changes to the tire pressure just to make it pass tech. Now that I've got a passing tech, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start making adjustments and everything until I actually have speed out of it. But I'm going to first compare what I'm driving right now to the iRacing baseline. And then I'm going to go try and see if I can go off of what I've got with this set here to make it quicker. Or I'm going to bring in a setup from a real-life car and test them side by side, as the setup for the real-life car was actually built for a quarter-mile bull ring, just like Fairbury. The banking's even a lot like Fairbury. The biggest difference between the track that it was built for and Fairbury is on the back straightaway at the track that it was built for is a sweeping back straightaway. It's my local track called Tyler County Motor Speedway. It's located in Middleburn, West Virginia. Beautiful track, beautiful facility, great racing weekly. It is amazing there. But the setup was from a driver named Troy Frazier. His nickname is the Mad Mexican. You'll probably see it on the setup name. I think it still says the Mad Mexican on the setup name. But I'm going to end up bringing it in for this and giving it a shot and seeing just how much closer we are to real life and see if that setup is now a valid setup. As before, it was comfortable, but it was not fast. So, with my own personal setup here for Fairbury, let's go hop out on track. Alright, so initial look, my left front is wanting to stand up like crazy. And yes, it did stand, but not nearly as much as what it is acting like right now. Woo, we are tight, boys. We are really tight.
13.86.
Yeah, we're pushing right straight at the wall with this setup. So I try full throttle, and it does the same thing that it does on a big block, or even a UMP now if you're on full throttle, and it wants to spin out. I really like that, actually. I'm going to... Whoop, I looked away to read a message while I was talking to you, but I'm going to work at it with this setup here for a little bit and see just what I can get out of it. I believe... Whoops. So that's what I get for looking away. I believe he's running 12-second laps. We'll take a look here. He's running on 4% track, but I have a feeling they are faster with a higher track state. I ran a 12.0 with a Pro Dirt late model at February. What is my quick time here? He ran a 12.0 with a Pro late model at February on the baseline setup. My quick time is a 12.3 in a super late model. Okay, alright. I've never been a fan of this track, so I'm not going to be terribly upset about that. Okay, so we'll find out here. I can't hardly even get the car to turn into the corner. Counter steer that I'm having to run into is absolutely insane. That corner felt really good, but I'm still over a second off the pace from what he said he was running. As much as I want to run the bottom, I know the bottom is not the fast line around here. And the top side is fighting me, so there's another half a second off, almost. He's also a lot better driver than what I am, I'm just going to say it. There's the wall. Yeah, okay, so my setup does not seem to be working. It is difficult to even so much as keep it off the wall. The audio might be messing with me. My ears are ringing. I work construction, so I deal with a lot of loud noises, and I'm the bonehead that doesn't like to put any earplugs in or headphones on or anything like that to block out the sound. So my ears are currently ringing, but I'm fighting the car a lot. I'm having a lot of issues getting it to turn in, having a lot of issues keeping it out of the wall. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw on the iRacing baseline now for February. I'm going to dump the fuel. And I'm going to see just what I can turn here. We know a 12.8 is my record. Ooh. A 12.8 was my record lap, and I turned a 12.847. What does it say my record is now? Okay, 12.3 was my record lap, not a 12.8. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and roll out with the iRacing baseline with 5 gallons of fuel in it. Okay, so it turns in a lot better than what mine did. Exit's a little bit funky. I might actually have to pull some of the bass back from my headset because I just noticed some rattling in my headset. So I'm turning 12.7s now. So that's getting a little bit quicker. This setup is not to my liking in the slightest bit, though. It does feel better than what mine did, but it's still not to my liking at all. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and take that with a 12.7. I'm going to say that's my quick time right now. He said he thinks it gets better as the track gets slick, which really isn't that surprising with the tire model, as I've already witnessed this in the UMP modifieds. I get better as the track gets slicker in the UMPs, so it's really not that surprising and still highly likely to be possible here. But I'm going to break out the old setup. I'm not going to show all the setups that I have in my folders, so be right back. Okay, so my setup from an IRL car, which I will actually not show you. As much as I would like to show it to you, I'm not going to show it to you simply because if this setup works, I want to keep it to myself because I have been waiting for this update to come because I really feel like this update is what's going to give me the edge. So I am really, really hoping right now that this setup works. And if it does, I'll show you guys similarities to it, and I'll show you guys little bits of how to get your car to set up like it is. But I'm not going to give you a full setup. It just all depends on how things go. But at any rate, I am really hopeful for this. This setup actually was right there to pass tech. My deck height was just a couple clicks too high. I just brought that down. As soon as I brought that down, I was in good shape to go. It just took 2 clicks of my left rear spring perch offset to bring it down. And I didn't even lose with those 2 clicks. It was so minuscule that I didn't even lose any left rear bite. So I'm feeling really, really confident about this whole setup working out for this and everything leaning more towards real life and my setup from real life working here. So, fingers crossed, we'll find out how it goes. My front end's a lot higher than what I'm used to. I'm not going to be surprised if it stands up with this setup. I'm used to sticking my front end down on the ground. Oh man, right off the bat, that felt really good right out of that first turn. Except for the fact that we just ate the wall already. I don't know, like, this one really actually has me baffled. And I really don't like this track, so I don't feel like this track is even a fair judge. But I am turning really slow laps. Oh, one thing I just realized that I didn't do was I didn't do a gear change. I'm not entirely sure what gear I need to run here, but I'm willing to bet it's not what I'm running. So let me go do a gear change and see what I can turn. So I'll be right back. Alright, so I've changed my gear. It was clear down at a 440 something. I don't even run that high of a gear for half miles, so I don't actually know what it was geared for. Just the gear change right there already makes this setup feel better than what it did. Went for the slider line there. Slider line not the place to be and not the way to go. Ow. So Fairbury is like my Achilles heel. Like, no matter how much I run here, no matter what I try to do, I cannot seem to get fast here. I do think that this setup is going to be a valid and quick setup for competition. Do I think that it is what I'm going to want to run for everything? Probably not. I think that IRL drivers are going to have a higher advantage, the ones that actually know what's going on with their car in real life and don't have somebody else doing all the work on their car, because the most comfortable and the most consistent I think I was with the setup off of a real life car. Our quickest lap here was a 12.3. Last was a 13.3. My quickest lap here was a 12.346. And our best here right now is 4/10 off that pace. And I know that the late models had been slowed down in the past. So I'm not real sure. What are my tire pressures on this one? 14.11. See, like, I know that's not right either. So my tire pressures are a little bit weird from what they are in real life with this setup, but other than that, everything with this setup is based off of a quarter-mile bull ring IRL dirt late model. So that puts me in really good spirits that was the most comfortable I've been. Now, what I'm going to go and do, but I'm not going to put it in this video for time's sake, I'm going to go and hit some other tracks, and I'm going to have some fun, and I'm going to go check out a lot of other racing going on, and I'm going to take this setup here, and I'm going to put it at pretty much every other track. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Hit that like and subscribe button, and if you like what you see here, hit the little notification bell, throw a comment down below, and let me know that you did like it. If you liked it, if you want to see something more specific, let me know. I will drive anything for you guys. If it's on iRacing, especially if it's on dirt, I will drive it. So let me know what you want to see me drive. Let me know where you want to see me drive it. Throw it down in the description. I'll throw something together for you guys. Thank you. Have a great night.